While Mercedes-Benz and BMW might have been first in the midsize luxury crossover market, it's Porsche that has made owning a vehicle like this fun, engaging, and also, dare I say, cool. Today we're taking a look at the 2024 Porsche Cayenne Coupe. This model does have a V6. Now, the last time I featured this model, it had the V8, and I absolutely loved that engine in a vehicle like this. But if you're somebody looking for a premium luxury crossover that gives you the finer things in life, but also you want to spend less than $100,000, then maybe taking a look at the Porsche Cayenne might be a great decision. Now, before we get started, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Porsche of Maine in Falmouth, Maine, for inviting me up here to check out their inventory. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive lineup of Macan and Cayenne models. Also, before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you're notified every time a new video goes live on the channel. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right in this review. 2 decades ago, when Porsche unveiled their first ever SUV, enthusiasts and purists almost lost their collective minds. The idea that a brand with the history and racing pedigree of Porsche could have the audacity to hop on the trend that other luxury brands started in the late 90s to produce family-friendly vehicles was unfathomable. But here we are entering the mid-2020s with quite possibly the most inspiring, classy, and robust SUV in this market that brings its own style and flair to set the tone for what has become a crowded segment. While the most fickle shopper may claim all these vehicles are the same, the Cayenne is something a bit different, that much like the Porsche 911, can only be appreciated once you get behind the wheel and go for a drive. Starting off with pricing, the entry point into the Cayenne Coupe lineup will come in at just over $84,000. And much like with the Macan, it will be more expensive than the primary rivals such as the BMW X5 and Mercedes-Benz GLE. However, the difference in refinement, interior quality, and performance out of the box is ultimately what you're paying for. Keeping in mind that Porsche is seen as a premium luxury brand, the Cayenne, even in base form, is in a league of its own, despite drawing attention from customers who are either willing to max out their budgets and desiring a special vehicle compared to the mainstream alternatives, or they're ready to go more upmarket in their next purchase for a midsize SUV. Regardless of the varying motivations behind the demand for the Cayenne, it all starts with the road presence, which even today in the 2020s is unique and refreshing. The minor cosmetic facelift for the Cayenne continues to build off a timeless design that at this point Porsche can't deviate too far away from. Between the signature 4-point LED headlights to the 911 inspired styling for the front fascia, and of course the dynamic and sports car-like body lines, for enthusiasts who need a family-friendly and engaging daily driver, there may not be a legitimate substitute, at least for an entry trim from a luxury manufacturer under $100,000. Moving over to the side profile, our Cayenne is sitting on the $1,900 20-inch Cayenne S wheels in Vesuvius Gray. Unlikely a major concern in this market if you are focused on having the optimal amount of comfort when it comes to the on-road driving experience, the adaptive suspension will absorb the bumps and imperfections in the road. But in true Porsche fashion, you'll also have the confidence to take on winding back roads during road trips. You'll have body color folding side mirrors with turn signal indicators to go along with blind spot detection for added safety. Then as we make our way around to the back, since we have the coupe today, the sloping roofline complements the body lines of the Cayenne very well, more so than what we've seen from the BMW X6 and Mercedes-Benz GLE coupe. While plastic cladding is noticeable throughout, especially for the wheel arches and rear bumper, you can go with a full paint finish for a sportier appearance. But for those who constantly are on the go who encounter winter road conditions, sticking with the cladding might be the better choice. Lastly, the dual exhaust outlets retains an aggressive look for the Cayenne, but quad exhaust tips are optional. Under the hood, the base Porsche Cayenne is powered by a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine, producing 348 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Compared to the V8 that's offered on higher trims, you'll notice that the Cayenne is lacking the aggression and muscle you'd experience with the S, GTS, and Turbo. However, the smooth accelerations and gear shifts complement the luxurious and upscale elements you'd expect at this price point. For those who've seriously considered the BMW X5 or Mercedes-Benz GLE, you'll appreciate the Cayenne's willingness to be an all-around great daily driver that in no way falls short of its rivals, and can balance being tuned both for sport and luxury. With the Cayenne, you will have all-wheel drive for better year-round capability, but also on-road performance. And when it pertains to fuel economy, you're looking at right around 17 miles per gallon in the city and 23 miles per gallon on the highway. Stepping inside, 2024 ushers in some new changes to the cabin, as the new steering wheel, gear shifter placement, and revamped technology could give the very best in this market a run for their money. As much as we'd like to think that the Cayenne's performance is what's ultimately drawing new buyers to the platform, the dashboard and driving environment is fitting for consumers with lavish tastes. Our model is equipped with the $5,820 Premium Package Plus, giving us 14-way power-adjustable heated and ventilated leather seats for both the driver and passenger, with these seats also having memory seat functionality. Closely related to the Audi Q7 and Q8, one could make the claim that the technology you'll be interacting with is not only presented in a way that's classy, but also more user-friendly and refined. In front of you will be a full digital gauge cluster, allowing you to customize what you see in regards to vehicle info and layout. You can opt for traditional gauges that will also be home to the traffic sign recognition, tire pressure monitoring system, and oil temperature, or you can display the navigation map so you won't have to look over to the head unit. Best of all, mounted on the steering wheel will be the drive mode selector, placing everything within arm's reach of the driver, but more importantly, to still have some physical buttons is great to see in the 2020s. Then moving over to the infotainment system, you'll have a 12.3-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. And since we have the Premium Package Plus, the Bose surround sound system will amplify the audio of your favorite music. Captivating us is that the head unit is integrated into the dashboard, rather than being a separate piece at eye level, or laid out like a tablet. While there aren't physical buttons to guide you along with this user interface, there will be quick access icons to the left that will lead you to different menus. From this screen, you can customize the drive mode and chassis, access vehicle settings, and scroll through a number of different apps. Despite being in-depth, the infotainment system does become second nature to use with time, and better yet, the resolution and quality will certainly meet your demands. Of course, you will have a rear backup camera with trajectory, with a top view and side views to help you park this Cayenne. Continuing on, for the center console, you'll find the touch-sensitive buttons for the dual-zone climate control, heated and ventilated seats, AC, and front and rear defrosters. Then tucked away, you'll have a wireless phone charging pad with 2 USB-C inputs. For the center storage compartment, there's just enough room for a wallet or smaller items. And then to round out the front seating area, above, we have a panoramic moonroof, which brings in a lot of natural light to the interior. Then quickly taking a look at the second row seating area, as you can tell, we have to improvise because it is pouring outside, and I want to continue on with this review since I had the Porsche Cayenne for another hour or so. But when you are sitting back here in the second row, this does feel very much like the BMW X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE, and also the Audi Q7. One of the big differences, though, compared to the Audi Q7 is that this is only a 2-row crossover. Now, if you are somebody that's cross-shopping, say a Macan and a Cayenne, and you're wondering what might be a better choice for you and your family, you're going to want to go with that Cayenne because you have a lot more legroom, but also even with this being a coupe, you have a bit more headroom as well, even with the panoramic sunroof on this model. Now, shoulder room isn't going to be too much of an issue either, and in fact, sitting in the center seat, I think you can easily fit a third person in the center, even with the aggressive center hump. So that is going to be something that will make the Cayenne a bit more intriguing and a bit more interesting over the Porsche Macan, but also definitely a worthy alternative to that X5 or Mercedes-Benz GLE. Now, for passengers in the back on this model, we do have heated outboard seats, also dual zone climate control, which is great to see. We also have a 12-volt outlet and 2 USB-C inputs. And then rounding out the second row seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Then as you make your way around to the back for the cargo space, you're looking at right around 21 cubic feet of room with the coupe. That is a bit of a sacrifice compared to the regular Cayenne. You're losing about 6 cubic feet of room. So if you're looking for a vehicle that is more practical, maybe more family friendly, you're going to want to go with the regular Cayenne. Although I'm just going to say this from a design perspective, that the Cayenne Coupe looks so much better. In fact, compared to say a BMW X6 or a Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe, this does look a bit better than those two options because it kind of has this 911 styling to it, which I think really goes a long way for this model. Also, this might be a bit controversial. I think it does look a bit better than the Lamborghini Urus and also the Audi Q8. Now, with the second row seats folded, you're looking at right around 53 cubic feet of room. Actually, that's about a similar dimension size to what we saw with the Porsche Macan. Now, personally, I think that Porsche is underselling what they're offering here in regards to practicality, because I was able to fit all my camera gear, no problem. So it's 3 bags of camera gear, 2 tripods, and a gimbal box. And I still felt for 21 cubic feet of room, there's a lot more space back there, even with the rear cargo cover in place. Also beneath the floor mat, you are going to have a spare tire, so if you encounter a flat on your road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. And now, since I'm already in the vehicle, I'm going to hop into the driver's seat. Let's do that test drive. So we're now behind the wheel of the 2024 Porsche Cayenne Coupe. Let's take this vehicle out for a quick test drive to see how it performs, how it handles, how it drives, how it compares to other vehicles in this market, maybe like an X5 or X6, or possibly even a Mercedes-Benz GLE or Audi Q8. Now, the last time I featured the Cayenne, it had a V8. And the V8 really gave this vehicle a lot of character, and it felt very muscular, much like you would experience with an X5M. But with the V6, this is a completely different experience. In fact, it's more luxurious than Sport, although I am in Sport mode right now, and I will change it to Sport Plus as we speak. And it does feel a lot more aggressive in this setting. But of course, with it raining out, also I don't really know my way around this area much because I really have never been to Maine before. I'm probably going to keep it very light and a bit more casual on this test drive. But one thing I will say though, is that if you are somebody who is cross-shopping this with the competitors, with the Cayenne Coupe, you're getting a more upscale experience, not only in regards to interior quality and refinement, but also the technology as well. Now, the Audi Q8 does have a great dashboard layout. Of course, you have Audi's virtual cockpit and the MMI user interface. But if you're somebody who prefers more of a classier design and a classier layout to things, you're gonna like the Cayenne for 2024. What you're also gonna like too is that when it comes to comfort, the suspension, even in Sport Plus mode, you can go over the bumps and imperfections and really not feel them that much like you would in a sports crossover or maybe even an X5M. But what you're also going to like too is that these seats do provide a lot of comfort and support, and you really feel like you're in a luxury first crossover. Although the V6 with its 348 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque might say otherwise. One thing that really stands out to me right off the bat, and again I'm in its most aggressive setting, is that it's very smooth and linear. What Porsche has done with the V6, but also this 8-speed automatic transmission, really has helped this vehicle feel very well refined and worth the price of admission. Now, the model we have today is priced around $100,000, and again, this leans a bit higher up in the pricing bracket for this market because you could get an X5 or maybe even an Audi Q8 at a much lower cost. But again, because it is a Porsche with the Porsche badge and also with the Porsche engineering, you're getting something completely different. You're also getting a more, I'd say, special experience being behind the wheel. While a number of you might consider the alternatives in this market, keep in mind that it's all going to come down to the driving experience and driving dynamics, which really sets the Cayenne apart from its closest rivals. Because even in base form with the V6, it does feel very playful. It also feels very aggressive on the road. The steering is nice and firm, also very weighted as well, and you can really feel the stiffness and rigidity of the chassis and suspension. And even with a BMW X5 or even a Mercedes-Benz GLE 450, you get a vehicle that's more luxurious than performance-oriented, because with BMW, you're going to have to go with the M60. And also with Mercedes-Benz, even with the inline six, it's going to prioritize comfort and luxury over everything else. Whereas Porsche, and as we've experienced throughout the entire lineup, they've done a great job of balancing both luxury and performance and giving you a great package at the end of the day. Now, at highway speeds at around 60 miles an hour, road noise really isn't too bad. It is very well insulated, being behind the wheel. Now, getting back on the highway, even though the Cayenne is more of a traditional SUV, it does have a decent lower center of gravity. Now, of course, I'm only going around 30 miles an hour, but there's very little body roll associated with this vehicle. Can easily put the power down. You can pass slower drivers with ease. So if you're looking for something luxurious, comfortable, and daily drivable, that's where going with the V6 and the base Cayenne is going to make a better decision than maybe maxing out and going with that V8. But if you're an enthusiast, go with that V8 for sure, because it's going to feel like a body-on-frame SUV, just because when you are accelerating, the entire front end lifts up. Whereas with the V6 and for a base Cayenne Coupe, this is tuned more for a fun daily driver that's also primarily tailored to somebody who is looking for a premium luxury offering under $100,000. And that's where Porsche has really cornered the market throughout the last few years with the Macan and the Cayenne. You're getting a premium luxury experience with a prestigious badge, but also great engineering. And for somebody who's looking at buying a V6 powered Cayenne, you're not likely cross-shopping this with an Audi SQ8 or a BMW X6 M60 or maybe even a Mercedes-Benz GLE 53. You're probably looking at a Mercedes-Benz GLE 450, maybe even a very well-equipped BMW X5 xDrive 40. And I just think that if you're somebody who is willing to max out their budget and you want to spend close to $100,000 for a vehicle that gives you everything, gives you that great performance, great transmission, great powertrain, but also practicality, versatility, and a vehicle with a great amount of technology here that I think is most certainly class leading when you're comparing this to BMW and Mercedes-Benz, that's where I would say lean towards the Porsche Cayenne, because you're going to get a great package, and even though you are paying a premium, you're receiving a lot of benefits for the price. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Porsche Cayenne. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Boston Autoblog so you can see what I'm up to and what vehicles I'll be featuring in the future. And I will see you guys next time.